All right. Welcome to Epic Group Cast for a movie cast. Today we're going to be talking about movies that we are cautiously optimistic for. The movies that maybe for a long time we were always saying we want a sequel to, and now we're getting them, but we hear things that, or see things that we may not be super excited about for them, but we want them to be good because we liked the originals and stuff. So, we've got several different movies to talk about today, some of which are coming out as early as next summer, and others that are probably a little bit further down the road. But the first one that we're going to talk about, actually no, we should do introductions. We haven't done introductions yet, so let's do that. Okay, I'm Jordan, and
Lawrence.
with me today we got Lawrence,
Anthony.
and Anthony.
And I'm Steven.
Awesome. Okay. So I only messed up a little bit so far.
It's all right.
It's not a big deal.
It's alright.
Okay. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Anchorman 2. I think it's like The Legend of Ron Burgundy Continues or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, really? That's the name of it?
Yeah. Yeah. So Anchorman 2 takes place in, what was it, the 80s, I want to say? When cable news starts
I heard
getting
it was
really
the
big.
80s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they pick it up in the 80s.
And it's...
They're doing making 20. Excuse me. They're making a 24-hour news channel, right? And
Yeah, and we've seen the multiple little teaser trailers of the four characters just talking, and it'd be funny, and then not too long ago they released at least one trailer, maybe two, about the movie, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of what you've seen, or what you hope to see in the movie, or...
Now, we discussed in the movies that we love that Anchorman is a period piece, right? It's a documentary. It's not a comedy, so...
Yeah.
No,
It's a nice view of the 70s.
yeah. So, going into the 80s, there'll be a lot of things, a lot of memories brought back, I'm sure, once we get to the 80s. It'll be interesting to see. But I'm kind of excited about the film.
I kind of hope that they don't really reference the fact of it's the 80s, other than the the style of clothing, and this is the beginning of cable news.
The subtle, it's the 80s, not just, hey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
And,
how the
maybe
first
these
film
guys are out of
was,
their
right?
element a bit.
That's how the first film was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, the 70s are in your face. It was just, you could tell it was set in the 70s.
Yeah. Because I think the reason why Anchorman was so big in the first place was just all the ridiculous jokes they had.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect movie for that point in time as far as comedy, I think, is concerned. So, do you think it's going to be poop, or...
I want for it to be funny, so
I'm
bad.
very excited about
I do
it,
too,
honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great.
I think it'd be wonderful. My only concern is that Will Ferrell hasn't really had a very good comedy in a long time.
Right.
Anchorman very well may be one of the last ones that I remember of being a very good comedy.
Okay, there's a huge gap between Anchorman and Anchorman 2.
Yeah.
There's going to be a huge gap. So it really worries me that they're going to go so over the top with this sequel. You know, I have a hard enough time with sequels.
Yeah.
Rarely is the sequel anywhere near as good as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm cautiously optimistic though about this group pulling it off.
I think it'll be fun just for the sake of we get to see these characters again. But
Yeah, see, for me, if any group could pull it off in this format,
Yeah.
I think, Rudd and Farrell and all of them, I really hope they pull it off.
Yeah.
And I love Brick. Just more Brick.
Yeah.
I'd watch a Brick
Yeah.
spin-off movie.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that wasn't a thing. But I'm really impressed they're even making this movie, because pretty much every single one of those actors are really busy now, making just bukus of movies.
I'm pretty sure they're all taking a pay cut too to do this. I think that they just
Probably.
really wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah, and
they
they
said
have-
we'll take less money. Just
It's
let's
so
do this.
many celebrities in this movie, of just little cameos. Harrison Ford is in it, and
Grumpy Ford.
pretty
Jim
much,
Carrey's in it.
yeah, pretty much if you just take a dart and throw it at any funny guy in comedy right
They're
now,
gonna pop up.
they're gonna be in Anchorman 2.
Will this
And
be
Liam Neeson.
And Liam Neeson, yeah.
Will this be Harrison Ford's character? Is this going to be the same Harrison Ford character from Morning Glory? Because I think that'd be really nice to see
It'd be a
in
funny
this
joke.
Anchorman film. But
be a funny
it's
joke.
probably not going to turn out that way.
I think we just need a movie where Harrison Ford makes fun of every character he's played in every movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like he is a space pirate, archaeologist, president.
Just all spin into one movie,
it's
one
just
character.
Like, and it's just it's Harrison Ford's.
What do I need a blaster for?
Yeah,
Harrison Ford.
I think it'd be wonderful.
The only problem
Get
is
off my Millennium
Get this
Falcon.
dog to stop following me
I'd
around.
watch that.
I don't think that Harrison Ford has that good of a sense of humor. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Probably
He just
not.
doesn't seem like he seems.
He's good at grumpy.
Uber
but
serious. Yeah.
I don't see him as doing that huge.
You'd think he'd be a really cool guy since he's like 60 years old and he has his ears pierced. I mean, doesn't that mean
That's
him?
That's
Yeah.
really, you're in.
Yeah. That's
You're a cool
Harrison
dude.
Ford as the old man
Yeah.
hipster. Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
So, Lawrence, what movie or movies are you cautiously optimistic about?
Coming up right away, like 6 days now, I'm pretty pumped about the Wolverine.
Yep.
I love parts of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I basically like the entire movie up until Deadpool shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, Steven just said before we were recording that he would watch anything
Yeah.
where,
Hugh Jackman
with
could-
Hugh Jackman in
If
it.
he's got claws, and even if he's singing, I'd watch it.
Yeah, me too.
You would watch Les Mis if he had
If
claws.
he had the claws.
Yeah.
Claws and singing.
Exactly.
As long as they're not bone
Exactly,
claws,
Does
I'm
that
in.
make him like a triple threat in
It
a way?
does.
Like he can
Yeah,
act,
act,
sing,
sing, and
and
dance.
have claws?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the
And,
new triple
and
threat.
cut sinks off walls.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that a
part was
joke in
almost
Walk Hard?
painful.
Like one of the sinks he rips off is just with adamantium claws. That'd be awesome.
I think that Hugh Jackman is fantastic for continuing to do these Wolverine movies. He said before that this is what's made him famous, and he's going to keep doing it as long as they'll have him, and I think that's great. It seems as though today they want to limit to 3 movies with the same actor as the character,
Right.
And he's someone who's got to go on and still be Wolverine.
I feel like though that the reason why those movies were like Iron Man and Batman were limited to 3 movies was because an actor didn't want to do that same role.
Well,
for the
Jackman's
rest
the
of his
exact
time.
opposite. He's
Yeah,
so enthusiastic about it. I mean,
yeah.
took a picture of him dancing with that
Right.
guy. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what says you'd like your character more than that?
Yeah.
With the claws.
With
they
the
had
claws.
the claws
Well,
doing
with the
Gangnam
claws.
style.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is
I like
awesome.
that.
if that doesn't say in it's winning, I don't know what does.
Right.
But
So-
I like him as Wolverine. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of X-Men Origins Wolverine, but this looks really good.
Okay, so then here's my question for you guys. Then I think it's safe to say we all liked X-Men 1 and 2.
yeah.
Okay, so does the Wolverine need to be better than just X-Men Wolverine Origins or whatever? Or does it need to be better than X-Men 1 or 2? Do we consider it a good, like, Marvel or a good Wolverine movie or just a good movie?
I'm not.
I say better than Origins.
Yeah, just
Really?
at least better
I
than
mean,
Origins. I don't think I
yeah.
need to compare it to the X1 and 2.
I'm not in love with the first X-Men movies. The
Really?
first
I
2.
loved them.
We loved them because that's what we had at the time.
Yeah,
but the
right.
superhero franchise is so much bigger and better now than those.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
but back
humble
then it was
beginnings.
like
Oh.
unheard of.
Yeah.
See, you're making an argument that makes me despise one of my friends from college who likes the new Star Wars movies better than the original trilogy. Likes the new trilogy better than the original because they're newer movies and they look better and there's more CGI
See,
and
here's,
stuff like that.
here's how I feel about that. Like, if you were born in 2000 or whatever, you would probably like the new Star Wars movies better than
Right.
the originals. It's because, I mean, we grew up with the original Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Like, watching them now, we can still love them because we have the appreciation for them,
But-
they look like crap now,
But but that's not that
No.
was like their look.
No, they look fantastic. They continue to clean up those films. The first Star Wars films look amazing to watch them. They've cleaned those films up to where they look crystal
Oh,
clear, like
see.
they were shot today.
No, they don't.
But
Even the Blu-ray does not look that
It's
good.
true.
The
But
effects
the-
the effects were made in the 70s.
But that's
The
but that's the point
effects-
though.
But I'm talking about the actual film, the actors and all that. It's crystal
It's
clear.
grainy. No, it's not.
it is. It's really grainy.
No, I
I
thought when
have-
they
Come
were
to
on
my
DVD,
house and
they
watch
were
the
fantastic.
Blu-rays.
Yeah, I've got the Blu-rays and they're very
Watch that
grainy.
Blu-ray.
But the whole point is like the reason why the first. Now this is my opinion. the reason why the original trilogy, of 4 through 6, were so good is because it was about like Luke Skywalker and this family. Like it was about this rebellion against this giant evil empire, and then like, oh crap, that's his dad, and learning about Jedi, and like it was this brand new, wonderful experience, and it felt like so cool, and the characters were so much fun. And like with the new trilogy, you didn't have any of that.
It's
you
all
had
about effects only.
Yeah,
and that's what my point was going to be.
Yeah.
I just didn't make it to it yet. Was
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
that you know, the story is so much better in 4, 5, and 6 than it is in 1, 2, and 3. But nowadays, it seems like people only care, you know, about how good it looks. Like, even like a lot of people that I hear complaining about Man of Steel, it's like, oh, the CGI sucks, you know, and like, that's sometimes all they have bad to say about it, you know, and they're like, I didn't like the movie because the CGI sucked. And I'm like,
There's
who
so
cares
much
if
more
2
to
minutes
it.
of CGI sucked if the rest of the
Yeah.
movie was good, you know? I mean,
I think that's just today's
and that's why,
movies, though.
so like kids today don't appreciate the original trilogy because they can't get past the fact that it doesn't look as good as the new trilogy.
I like the look of it though, because like you're supposed to think in the first 3, like this is like that was like the peak of the Republic. Like everything was wonderful then, and like in the 4 through 6, it was a rebellion. Like you scrounge whatever you can to fight back this giant dude who has infinite resources.
I would like to interrupt this Star Wars debate to just move us along nicely to Star Wars Episode 7
Yes.
as a film that we're very optimistic about.
Cautiously,
Optimistic. We'll be cautiously optimistic about it because of Abrams and the lens flares. I mean,
as long
See,
as there's not any.
it
in there,
really-
I'm okay.
Bothers me on some level that they're letting him direct Star Trek and Star Wars. I don't know why. If it's just my whole, like...
since
as-
he did such
as-
a bad
as a-
job with Star Trek,
No, I loved the
I
new
love
Star Trek.
in comparison to the original Star Treks, though, it's not.
I've
it's
never
not the
seen
same.
it. That's my thing. Is I've never
I
seen
never saw
any.
them either.
The Star Trek movie is my first experience with Star Trek. I've never
Right.
watched any of the shows. I've never watched any. I've watched one of the old movies. I've watched. I think it's called Generations with both of the
Yeah.
captains or whatever.
But-
that is the only Star Trek I've
And their whole
ever
pitch
seen.
for that, whenever they did it, was this is not your grandfather's
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Right.
Well,
They tell you that.
I appreciate that, but it's not Star Trek. It's a space adventure that they've slapped Star Trek names
that's
on.
Right, it's a
fine.
Star Wars movie
Yeah.
that they're calling Star Trek is what he
Right.
said. Basically, is
Yeah.
that he's a Star Wars fan, you know,
Right.
and that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is the dichotomy, you know, is just like I don't want the same person to be directing both because
Right.
I'm supposed to hate Star Trek as a Star Wars fan,
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
I've seen fanboys enough to know how I should feel.
Exactly, they've told me. I've been told my whole life as a
Yeah.
Star Wars fan that I'm not allowed to like Star Trek.
I think it'll be good. I mean, in all honesty, we should really just say cautiously optimistic for not just Star Wars 7, but like all 3 of the new trilogy and any Star Wars movie that comes out, because it's like,
See, I honestly believe it will be really good. And here's why. Because Abrams has said that he's willing to talk to Lucas to get ideas, to bounce ideas off of, you know.
yeah, which
and-
I don't think they should do.
No, I like this because Lucas is an ideas man. Okay? He puts
That's
out
true.
He puts out good ideas, but
Yeah.
everyone loves the original trilogy. He was more hands-off with the last 2 films, and Empire
Is
everyone's
best.
favorite.
Yeah.
So if he's hands-off, way more hands-off from these next 3 films, and lets Abrams go his way, he can say, oh, this would be a good character to have. And if it's another Jar Jar Binks, they can throw it out.
true.
But, you know, chances are he's going to pitch a lot of good characters if they do, you know, have this set-down meeting, and we'll get a fantastic Star Wars film.
Right.
I'm just hoping. I won't lie. I kind of would like to see Abrams kind of do everything and not include Lucas at all, because Lucas already made it clear that he's not wanting to deal with it. Well, like not so much. He doesn't want to make movies really anymore,
Right.
and that's fine. But like Disney has all of LucasArts now, so like let
Right.
them do what they want to do with it.
And that's fine. I
Yeah.
just think he's a good, you know,
An
for
ideas
ideas.
man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no problem if they want to sit down and have a lunch and pitch around a few ideas.
I am excited about the different ideas they have for like Star Wars, because they're talking about how they want to do like a Boba Fett movie, and they want to do a movie about Jedis that's kind of like the Last Samurai kind of thing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
or Seven Samurais. What else? They've talked about like a Yoda movie and stuff like that. Like I think that I like the idea that they're really open about trying all these different Star Wars movies that are outside of the trilogies that we
See,
know.
I would love for them to make a Yoda movie. That would make me so happy.
Like Yoda Origin.
It doesn't matter. Just if it's Yoda, just hopping around fighting everybody, I would absolutely love that
You
film.
want a parkour Yoda.
Exactly. That would be fantastic.
Adolescent years.
But I don't see a
Yoda in high school.
Yeah.
I want to watch that. Just like a
With-
drama.
acne.
Not even
Attractive you are.
yeah.
go to prom with me, you will.
Sadie Hawkins dance me.
Third base I'll get to.
But I don't think the audiences will embrace a non-human main character who looks so far from being human.
Yeah. Yeah. I see
Really?
that.
Because
I don't-
Yoda has... I think that'll be fine, because Yoda has an entire backing. He's got the original Star Wars nerds... Nords? Nords. You know,
The
like
Nordic.
the Nordic people.
Yeah, they
from the
love
original. And then you've got Yoda in the new trilogy, which... That was one of the biggest things that I took away from the new trilogy was
Was
seeing
how-
Yoda fight, and it was
Yeah.
really cool looking. Like, I'd watch a movie about that again.
I'll agree that he's got a lot of clout to him, but I'm probably going to side with Anthony on this one. I just don't think in his own film that people will really...
I think it would do well.
I don't know
I
if
think it
it'll catch
would.
on.
Just because Yoda is a very iconic character. of-
Yeah. I mean, I'd
Star
like for it to.
Wars.
I think it'd be cool to watch him.
I think the only characters it wouldn't work for would be like a C-3PO R2-D2 movie. Because I don't want to listen
I've already
to
seen Wally.
beeps and a neurotic robot talk all the time.
Yeah,
I
that's my
agree.
thing. People, they jump all over Jar Jar Binks, as they should, but
Yeah.
what about 3PO?
Because he wasn't so much in your face about it.
Okay.
3PO was like nervous, like, and if anything, 3PO was like the character that most people could relate to because you are in this new universe and you
You're
don't know what
lost.
to expect. Yeah, and
You're
C-3PO was like, oh, change is bad. This is no good. And like Jar Jar was just like, oh, look at me with my tongue drooling
This is
down.
so stupid.
And I trip on bombs and I save Dave by making problems. Oh, yay,
But
ah.
big problem.
Like, no thank you.
Sign me
Jar
up
Jar
for-
was Indian in those movies, actually. With that little accent I just had, I think.
Oh,
He was Indian.
I remember that, yeah. Yeah, now that you
He
mentioned
wasn't- he
it,
wouldn't-
I do remember
Now that you
Jar Jar
mention it,
being Indian.
He did own a gas station. Yes.
Was that demo?
That's horrible.
I love
apologize.
racism.
I'm just talking about The Simpsons now, though.
Oh, right.
Like,
Who,
if they can do
Come
it.
again.
Come again?
who needs the Kmart? I do.
Okay, so another movie that we're cautiously optimistic about would be Super Troopers 2.
Why?
What do you
Why?
mean?
Oh, why?
Wait, you mean not just fully optimistic about it,
Yeah.
right? Because, hell yeah, Super
Yeah.
Troopers
Yeah.
2.
I want it to be amazing, and I think it will
Car
be.
ramrod.
It's just
The only thing
Say
is
Car
like,
Ramrod. Say Car Ramrod.
since
Say
Super
Car Ramrod.
Troopers,
yeah.
their movies have been good. Like Beer Fest, I really liked Beer
That was
Fest.
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, Beer Fest.
Slam and Salmon was okay.
I like Club Dread.
Club Dread, I
I
liked
really-
it too,
yeah.
but like a lot of people really hated on it. You
I don't know why. Like it was designed to make fun of
Yeah,
horror
exactly.
movies. Like,
Club Dread was okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed
I
it.
think it'll be great. I'm
I do too.
pumped about it.
I would love to see their shenanigans in like a town. I think it'll be pretty good. I'm hoping it will be, but it's one of those things where I think Super Troopers just like has a wonderful cult following, and like
Yeah.
we all love it for all the little jokes in here and there. And it's like you mentioned,
But
Anthony,
it's
any sequel, it's got to be better. But
Right.
or
Is this
or
new
more
thing
of the
gonna be
same.
better?
If it's equal, I would be perfectly fine with that.
oh yeah,
It's just more time with those characters. You know, same way I feel
That's
about
true.
Anchorman is. I love those characters so much, and I just
But-
want to spend more time with those characters.
one of the biggest things about sequels are like, has it been too long since you've been with those characters
I
that
don't
like
think
you
so. It
wouldn't?
hasn't been that long. I think that it just my love for that movie
I was
just
gonna
grows
say,
and grows.
You have more appreciation too, so that's why you want them to come back. Is,
Yeah.
You miss it.
All right. Next movie we've got on the list is Short Circuit. They're talking about a reboot of that movie. So if any of you remember in the 80s where they made... was it just two or there were three
Those
movies?
two.
Two. Of a robot, a state-of-the-art robot at the time, that becomes self-aware.
Right? It was a military
Yeah.
robot, right?
Yeah. It
There-
becomes self-aware and hilarity ensued.
Oh yeah.
He was just wanting to have fun time in life.
And not be disassembled.
And not be
That was
disassembled.
his goal in
Yeah.
life. Was,
Don't kill me.
Yeah.
Which
Which-
that's good.
That's every human. Like, we
Yeah,
don't want to die.
yeah, we can all relate to that.
Yeah. But do you think a Short Circuit reboot would be awesome?
I would watch it. I
yeah,
really
I'll
would.
watch it.
Yeah.
I don't, and I hear they're remaking Gremlins also, and I'd rewatch
Yeah.
that also.
We're talking about that. But it's Hollywood. Like, they don't really have any original ideas anymore. They just reboot
Yeah.
old stuff. Because it did good then. Why can't it do good now?
I might watch a Gremlins reboot because I love that film, but I don't think I could handle a CGI Gremlins reboot. I would want a puppet.
Nah, it'll be
It'll
CGI.
be CG. You know it will.
I know it will, but I think that puppets look better than CGI a lot of times. Puppet work
I don't know.
a lot of times.
Like 10
I-
years
robots,
ago, I
I would-
probably would have agreed with you.
Yes.
Now, I don't know so much.
I always like to use the example of Yoda in the original trilogy looked cool, but Yoda in Phantom Menace looked awful. Just awful. And then
Yeah.
you see CG Yoda in the second one, and you're like, wow, this is really cool looking.
This is better.
Gremlins.
See, I liked the way Yoda looked in the original trilogy. I didn't really like him so much in the in the
Episode
second one.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, I think puppetry now...
The
I
Predators
think
are
you would-
usually always,
Yeah.
robotic, the mouths and all that, and I think the
Not in the
Predators look-
newest one. And the Predators, it was all CGI.
all of them were.
Like whenever they did the whole like screaming thing in
Oh,
the
yeah.
mouth, it was CGI stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just like movie technology has just gotten so good now to where we can see how fake puppets really are, and CGI doesn't look as fake.
I'm okay with
good
like
CGI.
some CGI certain things, but
Yeah.
I think I'd rather see puppets and robots.
I feel like if we're gonna do robots, I think it'd be a lot more fun to have a robot than just a CGI robot. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
For like,
I'd
short,
rather see
yeah.
a new robot for a new Short Circuit.
Yeah, I'd rather see
What was
that.
he called?
25?
Johnny Five. I'd like to see a new Johnny Five
As
than
a
just-
robot.
as a this kid made it in a science fair.
right?
Like that's what I want to see, because I think that was
So
the
many
reason
girls.
like it looked so cool was, or like Short Circuit was so much fun. Is like he just looked really interesting too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a robot that was just a humanoid.
Right, but see,
Right.
that's my problem. I mean, I think that they want to, like, make
Humanize
him
him.
a little
I
more
hope not.
robot-y,
So he looks like iRobot.
kind of.
If it looked like the robots from iRobot, I could be okay with that.
I want him
just
to have
don't
the
want it to
treads
be like,
still, though. Like,
Huh?
I want him
the
to have, like, the
tracks.
treads.
Yeah.
yeah. I just don't want it to be like RoboCop or anything like that. Like he looks like a human
Yeah.
that just
Right.
happens to be a robot.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I'm hoping they're not going to go that route.
Yeah, we'll see. That's probably not for a little while. That and Gremlins reboot.
Right.
I don't know if they should make a Gremlins reboot, because the last thing we need to do is convince kids these days that they need to have a lot of responsibility, because like they hate it enough as is right now.
That's true.
And then you give them a pet that you can't feed after a certain time, and don't you even think about giving it a bath. Maybe
The-
that's the best pet, actually.
The one thing that I don't
for
understand about
kids,
Gremlins...
like don't ever wash it,
Don't ever watch it.
and you
Right.
really don't have to feed it all that much.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's locked up after midnight, so it's not hungry.
See, how does that? I've wondered this myself. How does it work? Like, don't feed him after midnight. Okay,
Right, like
well, it's
midnight
always
where?
after midnight.
Right.
Even if it's midnight where you're at, it's always after midnight. So you can't feed him again until what?
Maybe
The
just-
sun comes up, or until 1 p.m.
It's a good question.
You know,
It's a good question.
I mean, how long is the period where you're not allowed to feed them?
Right.
I would say from midnight until when the sun comes up, and I'm sure they maybe mention that because don't they turn into like stone or something if they're exposed to
No,
sunlight?
they melt.
They melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Gremlins 2 whenever they're like on the big skyscraper flying around.
Oh, yeah.
That was just the
Just that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
They started experimenting with genetic material and started drinking it. And one of them
Right.
drank the bat juice. And then when he flew out, he made a perfect Batman symbol as he broke through the window or
Yeah.
the wall or whatever. Because Gremlins 2 was way more cheesy than
Yes,
Gremlins.
it was.
It would be cool to
way,
see.
Way more cheesy.
Yeah.
One
I would
thing
like to see
I
that
like about
redeemed.
it, though, is like that they made like different versions for depending on if you were watching it on video or watching it in the theater. You know, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of cool, and they don't
Yeah.
really do stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it'd be funny if they did make the reboot and then like Gremlin toys would be like the new Furbies.
Gremlin stuff is everywhere. NECA is making all
Yeah,
kinds of
that's
Gremlin
true,
stuff.
actually.
I mean, it's something that they still produce tons of toys for, and they still sell.
Maybe a reboot would work then. I think.
Are we
it'd
gonna
be
have
cool.
Howie Mandel come back?
I hope so.
And he not touch anyone.
Right.
Well, because he does
Because
voice
he's a
work,
puppet now. Yeah, he's just,
Yeah.
just talking to a mic.
and if it's CGI, then all the better.
Wouldn't that be cool if they did the reboot and it was like Gizmo again? I think that'd be cool.
I would get behind that. I really
Yeah.
would.
I like Gizmo, especially when he went all Rambo in the second one.
With his little paperclip and
Yeah,
rubber band.
Oh, that's so cute, but he's deadly.
yeah. Okay, so Gremlins reboot, yay! Short Circuit reboot, yay! Okay.
Let's reboot it all. Hollywood's
It's
out
gonna
of
happen
ideas.
eventually. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's just push for it.
Exactly. Another movie that we talked about that we're cautiously optimistic for is The World's End, and this is the last movie in like the pseudo trilogy work of Edgar Wright, who made Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, which are both fantastic movies. If you like the zombie genre, I highly recommend you watch Shaun of the Dead because it pokes fun at it a lot, and
so
it's
good.
really
Right.
funny. And if you like Bad Boys and Point Break and buddy cop comedies, like watch Hot Fuzz.
You ever fire your gun in the air and go, ah? I love Hot Fuzz. I love Shaun of the Dead also. I'm excited about World's End.
And yeah,
I just want to say I've never seen Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz,
Really?
that's your
but the
homework.
trailer for The World's End looks amazing.
Yes.
You should watch
You would
both
love
of
Shaun
them.
of
They're
the
you would,
really
you would
good.
like them. You would
Yeah.
like both of those movies.
I don't know why it's a cautiously optimistic with The World's End because I mean it really looks funny. It really
it does.
looks like a good
it
film.
does. And
I
just
think I'll
wanted-
enjoy it.
I just wanted to be good so I can say, like, any film buff friend I have, like, go watch Edgar Wright's movie trilogy because he makes fantastic movies and they're all a little different. Like, the biggest thing I love about Hot Fuzz is it makes fun of the whole, like, sound
Yeah.
in a
Oh, yeah.
buddy cop comedy. Like, everything they're doing, like, putting on
his
glasses,
keys in.
putting his keys
Filling
in,
up his
opening a
coffee
door.
mug,
Yeah, it's like, fill up the coffee, take it away. Like, it's awesome that way.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And I think The World End is all about big group of friends get back together after so many years of being apart, and they try to finish this pub crawl in their hometown,
Right.
where they find out that their hometown has been replaced by robots. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but with robots.
Right.
And the
And
last
they-
bar on the list is The World's End.
Yes.
Is the name of the
Right.
bar, and
Yeah.
they have to get there
And they
to
have to get there.
survive.
I really hope that it's what's actually going on is that there's robots invading, and yes, they're doing something bad, but like while trying to save the world, they're still just like, we have to finish this bar crawl.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, this is
I'm
why
sure
we're
that's
here.
exactly
We
what you're
yeah,
we're
like,
here on this journey. And let's.
We've been trying to do this since we were kids.
Yeah,
we're not going to let
robots
robots stop us. Yeah.
That would be
Oh.
great. I hope that's how it goes.
Oh man, I've yet to watch an Edgar Wright movie that I didn't adamantly enjoy. So I'm hoping this is exactly the same as all
It
the
will.
others.
It will be.
Yeah. But okay, kind of change gears of comedy to action is 300: Rise of an Empire, which is the sequel to Zack Snyder's 300 from so many years ago.
But wait, is it a sequel or is it like parallel to?
It
the
is
original?
it is a direct sequel.
Yeah, it picks
It
up
is,
right after.
yeah, it picks
Yeah.
up moments after.
For some reason, I thought I'd heard before that it was kind of at the
Well,
same time.
They
Yeah,
weren't sure
and-
at first because they let Frank Miller write a new comic, which
Okay.
was, I believe it's called Xerxes.
Yes.
And so this movie is based off of Xerxes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a sequel, because 300 ends with the army ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to pick up with and I think
Yeah.
they've got Gerard Butler.
Mm-mm. Gerard Butler is not in this movie at
Yeah.
all.
He
He
might
might be
get
in
his
it.
head cut off, like 6
Oh.
seconds in the movie.
Oh, then yeah,
Because, you know,
bad.
there's the scene in the beginning of 300 where that messenger shows up and he's got a bunch of king's skulls.
Yes.
And he raises them up in the air right before he gets kicked into the bottomless pit.
Why is that even there? Why is there a bottomless pit in the middle of a town?
How do you build a bottomless pit? Like
That's where
is
they
that
let
something
children
you just
play.
stumble upon? And they're like, "Oh, let's build a
hey.
town around this."
Watch out, bottomless.
This is where we'll put all of our poop.
How do you know? How do you know it's bottomless?
That's
Like,
true. Maybe it was actually 3 feet.
Yeah.
And they just
They
don't
just don't
want to
show
hey,
us.
it's like Austin
It's
Powers.
actually only like
I'm
5
still
feet.
alive down here. I'm just very badly burned.
So, do we think that 300, the sequel of 300, is going to be as good as? Because I love 300. Like the style of that movie was really, really cool.
It's
Zack
very
Snyder is
homoerotic.
producing.
Not directing.
Right. He's producing this film.
Yeah.
I think it'll be as good. He'll still be there. He can, point things out.
I don't know, because I feel like the way 300 was shot, and same thing with like Sucker Punch and Watchmen, like that's very much Zack Snyder, very much
Right.
like
Right.
slow mo,
But if
zoom
you-
in on detail.
If you look at the trailer, though, I mean, it looks.
it does.
it looks
does,
a lot
It
like
looks
the
like a pretty
original
cool
film.
trailer. It does.
Plus, Eva Green and Lena Headey. So what more do you need?
That's true.
Yep.
They're the best at being just like
I hope they fight.
hardcore
Yeah.
women. Just
Yeah.
like yeah.
Tough as nails.
Yeah. That's refreshing from having so many movies where they're always a damsel in distress.
Right. Not the case. I
Yeah.
don't think that will be the case with this film.
I think that's why I like her so much as an actress, because like every role
Which
she
one?
plays, Lena Headey, and she's the
Okay.
one from Game of Thrones, right? That plays Cersei in Game of Thrones. Sarah Chronicles.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Every-
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
That's man, you've got a lot of work to do this weekend. Then you've got so much stuff to
Homework.
watch. You got to watch Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. They're
I'll
only
get
like an
right on
hour
that.
each, and there's only like 10 or 12
There's-
episodes,
yeah.
so you're fine.
Just don't
36
sleep.
hours.
You don't need to sleep.
It's not that big of a deal. You won't want to sleep after watching the show, seriously. You'll finish one episode and want to be like, can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I've watched like the first 20 minutes of the first episode, and I'm like, my God, when is this show going to start? I'm like,
It's very much like
I'm like, so
Battlestar.
far, absolutely nothing has happened, and I'm bored, and I
Th-
shut it off.
That's the worst part, is like, first seasons of any show, you're going to need to know the characters, and unfortunately for Game of Thrones, there's just an abundance of characters.
Right.
But then, like, season 2 is nothing but, like, battles,
Yeah.
and season 3 is nothing but, like, backstabbing.
But I've told you about how I feel about, like, I completely did not watch any of the first season, when it was on, and then, so, my first experience with Game of Thrones was I bought the season 1 Blu-ray, you know, and I open it up, and then I pull out this piece of paper, and I unfold it, and it's like 4 feet by 4 feet map of like this area that I'm supposed to know to watch a show, and then you turn it over, and there's like family trees,
Yeah.
it's just like bloodlines and stuff, and I'm like,
Oh.
I'm gonna have to study before I can
Before
watch
I
this
even
show.
watch.
I'm like, I don't know that I'm willing to commit this much
Cliff
time.
notes?
I don't understand. I watched the
Is there a
first season.
test?
I don't know. Are there
Like,
quizzes?
is
at the
there
end
a
of the
test?
episode?
Will be like,
There will be.
Before you can watch.
The bonus features are just pop quizzes. throughout
Before
the
you can
show.
watch
Oh
the.
yeah, it's like, ooh, sorry, you only scored 8 out of 12. You can't watch season 1
You
yet.
should rewatch
Yeah,
that
please,
episode.
Please
Just
brush
watch.
back up
Yeah.
through the dictionary.
Please
that came with your
refresh.
Blu-ray set.
I watched season 1 on Blu-ray with my parents, and I had to, every episode, they would ask, like, who that person is and why are they doing that, and I'd have to pause it, like, every 10 or 20 minutes and explain it. Not like there's a lot to explain, but I love my parents, but they just can't keep ahead of movies or shows that make you really think,
Old people.
Yeah, that's old
people.
people in general.
Such a drag.
Old people. Gosh, that demographic.
We don't
I've
want you.
successfully weeded out many of the demographics that listen to us.
Little
Right.
by little, Jordan's cutting down our audience until it's,
It's actually just going to be us.
Yeah.
We have very few listeners now. It's probably not a good thing to be
I don't know if any of them
cutting
are
off.
old people
Yeah,
That's a good point.
in general, though.
None of them are
But-
old, right?
I'll have old people listen to
No,
this.
old people are babies.
Okay. Probably the number one movie that I am the most cautiously optimistic for on this list is the new X-Men movie, X-Men Days of Futures Past, which is coming out, I want to say next year, But the weirdest thing about this movie is that they take the original cast, a lot of the original cast from like X-Men 1 through 3, and a lot of the original cast from X-Men First Class, and they're mashing them together as this time travel movie about people from the future come to the past to stop a certain event from happening that causes mutants to be pretty much, the best way to describe it, is Holocaust for mutants, is what it is.
Right.
And they're trying to stop that somehow. And we're talking we've got Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy is playing Charles Xavier.
Oh wow, they're doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is back as
Jeez.
Wolverine.
Yeah, I saw Jackman and Mary.
We've pretty much people like the original Iceman
Alan
and
Page.
Rogue.
Rogue and Shadowcat and Colossus are all
I
there.
saw them on there.
Maybe Nightcrawler as well.
Yeah.
And then we have the original people. And then Ian McKellen is
Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do
Magneto.
with 2 Magnetos.
There's 2 Magnetos. There's 2 Xaviers. There may be 2 Cyclopses. Like they're everywhere.
Here's my thing.
And Peter Dinklage,
Dinklage.
Dinklage, sorry, is in this movie.
Right.
And the rumor being it, he's Edward Trask,
Boulevard Trask.
Boulevard Trask in the movie.
Yeah.
And he makes all the Sentinels, which are giant robots
Right.
that hunt down and kill mutants.
See, that's like one thing that I want to see. Like in X-Men 3,
Sentinels.
you know, like the very
Yeah.
beginning, they do like the
That
danger
training,
room
yeah.
scene
Yeah.
or whatever.
They had
And-
the head at Comic-Con for the new Sentinels. with
Yeah,
the-
and a
okay,
lot of their
movie.
posters
Well, I'm
are all
excited
about
about that.
Sentinels.
Like, that's one thing that I always kind of wanted, like in the original trilogy, was to see some Sentinels. So I'm kind of pumped about it.
The best thing about this is that Bryan Singer is directing it. He was directing X-Men 3 before he left to do Superman Returns, and Brett Ratner started directing it.
Ruined
and he acknowledges it, saying that this movie will pretty much negate everything that happened in X-Men 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it'll erase
Because it's time travel.
because it's time travel. Yeah.
Here's my thing. I think that this film looks fantastic. I think it will go well with these other films that Singer originally did.
hmm
But this is supposed to be a direct sequel to X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
Okay. I will not watch this film because of that. Because I will not watch First Class. Because they crap all over continuity. Just blatantly put characters in the film who should not be that age with Xavier and Magneto.
Oh,
throwing
and
in-
like they didn't do that in Wolverine Origins.
I don't like Wolverine Origins either.
Oh,
but
okay.
That's,
See, that's
but
my.
that
You
screws
are
up.
one of the people that I don't like. You are the people. You are one of the
I
people
can-
that ruins
I can understand
movies.
that.
No, here's my
Yes,
thing.
you do. You're like, oh, this has to be exactly like the comics, or I'm not going to like it at all. It's not like the comics. First of all, it's a movie.
No, I'm okay if they want to change things. Man of Steel clearly was not like the comics, and I'm okay with that. You can change things. You should not be able to just...
But your argument is that it's not following continuity.
Not- you
Men of
can't
Steel
throw
did
it
not
com-
follow continuity.
You can't throw out everything about these characters.
You
What are they throwing
apparently
out?
can.
I don't feel that they should be rewarded for crapping all over these characters. Throwing in Mystique and Emma Frost and Havoc, who's Cyclops' brother, whereas Cyclops'
Yeah, but
parents haven't even met by the time this...
yes,
film is
but they
made.
did it so
And
that you
Darwin.
wouldn't have Cyclops in every single movie.
Right, I understand that, but it's ridiculous how
I'm okay.
horribly they've done.
I'm okay with
This
how they did
cast.
First Class because they used mutants that were not in any of the other movies for the most
Right.
part. Like Mystique was, but Mystique didn't really play a big part in that movie other than showing her slight change to being evil.
Yeah.
Same thing with Magneto.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean-
See, I really liked First Class. I
was
thought it was
fun.
really good.
No, I'm
mean-
sure it is a good movie. I'm
So you've never
convinced
seen
that-
First Class?
I
Right.
refuse on principle because you should not be able to screw these
But my
characters
thing
over
is-
that bad.
You know, I grew up just like you, watching the X-Men cartoon on Fox every Saturday or whatever,
Right.
and reading the comics and stuff. But I don't let it bother me because it's not those comics. It's a movie, and it's a new movie, and it's sure they have the same names and they are
Yeah.
the same base characters.
But you're going to tell me
But
that
you can change origins in movies. That's what I mean. They've always done that.
okay, but like Emma Frost is older in First Class than
Yeah.
what she is in Wolverine X-Men Origin, which
But-
takes place 20 years later.
But you're
Okay.
you're arguing that all of these movies follow continuity, and they don't.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
They
acknowledge
use the same actors.
that doesn't matter. They acknowledge
They
that
shouldn't.
Wolverine Origins was never a part of
because it
X-Men
did poorly.
series.
No, because they made the comment. This is a Wolverine movie. Like, the stuff that happens in it are a fun little nod to the other movies, but they are not part of the continuity. And if you really want to get that upset, like, Xavier dies in the third one, and
Right.
Cyclops dies, and he comes back in another person's body, and, like, and Jean Grey dies in the third one.
See, I'm okay with that because these characters have died in the comic. Characters die all the time and come back. I don't have a
Right.
problem with.
And
I don't have a
sometimes
problem
they're
with
totally
slight
different.
changes.
That's my.
But you're
yeah, but
arguing
okay.
ages.
If you're going to argue that, then you're not allowed to like Superman, because the original Superman did not have powers the new Superman has. He is a completely different person now. You still like him?
I just think that they've really screwed up the continuity.
But there's no continuity. That's what they're arguing.
Yeah,
It's like First Class was a standalone prequel, and
Right.
like meaning that it happens before the first one, but this is a different universe. Okay, it's talking about how they could lead to what X-Men 1 was.
right.
And the sequel, Days of Futures Past, is a sequel to First Class, but it's going to be part of the future. So what they did was, instead of grabbing
New
actors, like take the ones that were in the previous ones that people already know. Oh, he's Professor X, and oh, she's Storm. Like, treat it as maybe not just time travel, but maybe split realities or whatever. But like, it's just a really easy way for them to say, past Professor X, future Professor X. Got it? Okay, good. Now we're moving on with the movie.
Right.
Because
No,
everyone
I'm
knows
cool.
him
And if you
as
really want to get
Professor
that
X.
upset, like with Tywin Lannister possibly being Trask, like he was not a little person, and he didn't technically work for like the government in the comics whenever he was first introduced. Like, but that's what it's looking like to be in this one.
No, see, I'm okay with small changes.
And
Iron
also,
Man,
Trask was in the third movie.
right. Iron Man took out Jarvis and replaced him with a computer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm okay with slight changes to adapt it to film
That's
because
fine.
I don't want to see the same thing that I've read. But I don't think that you should be able to do what they did with that First Class movie.
I think that you're just nitpicking.
I
Is
think
how
you
I
are.
feel.
I think that's a way bigger than a
I
nitpick.
think you are.
I think that nitpicking is
I
having a
think
problem
you're
with Jarvis
arguing.
being
I think
removed.
you're arguing that they put this character in here for the good story, like for a good story, and for it to make sense. And you're arguing that it doesn't make sense when you compare this to this other movie. And no one is saying that those movies should be compared.
Right, but then how's Emma Frost going to be dating Cyclops later on if she's 100 by the time he's born?
That's just not going to happen.
I know,
in
it's
this
just not going
universe.
to happen. Will.
That's the
It's
thing.
stupid.
Is like you're trying to say that it's the same storyline, and
That,
we're saying
that
it's
blows
not.
my mind because I could argue, why is Superman dating Wonder Woman in the current New 52? And I know that you're okay with that.
Right.
But why aren't you arguing? Oh, he shouldn't be dating her because Superman marries Lois Lane. That's what happens.
But that's a new, fresh take.
And
So
this
is
isn't.
this.
No.
What is
That's
this?
what this is.
They're not rebooting a movie that happened before. Like, this is a new movie with a new story.
I still say they're crapping all over the characters.
They're not, though.
I stand by that.
They're making a time travel movie where they're respecting both movies.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll never watch it.
Uh,
Never.
Well, then you're gonna have to because we're gonna review it on
I'm
here.
not going to review that.
Oh
I
my
won't
gosh.
watch it.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way.
That's like
no way.
You are
I haven't watched
ridiculous.
First Class.
that's like
There's
refusing
no way
to
I'll
watch
watch
the
the
Schindler's
sequel.
List because you're not a proponent of like the Holocaust or anything. But the Schindler's List is a fantastic movie.
I've never watched Schindler's List.
What?
What?
Anthony doesn't like anything that's not set from today forward,
Right. For the most part.
Goodness.
except Anchorman.
Except Anchorman. That's a movie.
The one
that-
exception.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I
Have you
just-
seen Home Alone?
He even hated Back to the
Yeah.
Future 3
Okay.
because it was Old West.
Did you really hate Back to the Future 3?
I didn't care for Back to the Future 3 as much as the others when I originally watched it, but I like it.
Well,
Which is
here's
funny
the
because
question.
it may be my favorite.
The third one?
Yes, I love the third
I
one.
like the second one the best.
When I was a kid, I liked the second one the best because I love the hoverboards and stuff. But the older I get, the more I like the third one.
I like the second one the best just because you get a little bit of taste of everything. You get like you start off in the original reality,
Right,
and then you go in the
then you
future,
hop-
and then you go
yeah,
back to
there's a
this
lot more
fake
hop
one.
around.
Yeah, and then you go back to the 50s where the first one was, and this weird like. And that's a good movie of showing that multiple versions of yourself could time travel to a time and change little things that make
Right.
you change how you did before, and
And
like
completely change the characters. I
Yeah.
mean, Marty's mom, changes drastically
Yeah.
through the series.
Had that only been a found film, that would have been fantastic.
Oh, no. Just no. No. But X-Men Days of Futures Past, I think it'll be good.
I just want there
I think
to
so
be,
too.
I want there to be one epic chess game between both of the Xaviers and both of the Magneto's. That's it.
That
There
would
you
be
go.
cool.
That's all I want.
Oh man, I remember seeing, like, if anything, you shouldn't be pooping on the X-Men movies as far as like continuity and stuff, because like that was before, and X-Men isn't even really a part of the Marvel universe.
Right,
It's
right.
all
It's
Fox.
Fox's.
Yeah, but like and you're right, they're really bad about throwing all these little nods about how
Here's this
like,
guy. Remember
Professor-
him from the comics?
Professor X is now dead, but he's in a different body, and Magneto lost his powers, but now he can move chess pieces.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
yeah. I don't know.
No, I do think it'll be a really good film. Chances are I'm not going to watch it.
So what happens if it comes out and like it's as good or better than Man of Steel? Like, would you see it then?
Define better.
Critically acclaimed, getting a better score on Rotten Tomatoes than Man of Steel. Like, and you read a bunch of like Comic Vine and a bunch of other comic
Probably not.
websites that are
Because
saying,
people
"This is
love
great."
First Class, and I still haven't watched it.
That just baffles me.
I
That you
just
can
don't
sit
even
there and be like,
understand
I'm a huge comic fan, but I refuse to watch First
I
Class
don't like
because
this
even though
movie
people
because
love
it's
it,
not what I'm used to.
it changes slightly ages of people.
I am not a fan of the X-Men anyway. So that could have something to do with it.
You should
Like-
watch it for the sole reason of it's an X-Men movie that isn't relying on Wolverine.
Yeah, that simple fact alone.
I mean,
honestly.
Yeah,
think about
he's
it.
in
First,
it
first
for
movie,
literally
yeah.
4 seconds.
You
First
might have
movie
just
come-
sold me on it.
First
It's
movie comes
awesome.
down to Wolverine saving the day. Second movie comes down to dealing with Wolverine's past. Third
Yeah.
movie comes down to Wolverine having to kill the woman he loves.
Thanks, Hugh Jackman.
Think
Right.
about it.
Yeah,
And then
it's-
X-Men
it's
they nod that in the First Class. So
Yeah.
searching out mutants, and they go and find Hugh Jackman
What
as
does he say?
Wolverine, and he's like, "Hey, I'm so and so, and I'm so and so. We want
Did
to
they
talk to
even
you."
get
And
that many words out?
No,
It's
they're
like,
like-
hey, and he's like, fuck off.
Like,
Yeah,
And then that's it. That's all he's
it's
in the
like
movie.
legit, like
Right.
a 3-second cameo, and like that is enough for me to be like, "Awesome! You're telling me you don't need Hugh Jackman to carry this movie."
Exactly.
Right.
I thought it was great.
It's
And
a
I
lot
loved
of fun.
Kevin Bacon in it. I just
Yeah,
loved everything about it.
Kevin Bacon
I
is
mean,
wonderful in it.
You know, when I first watched it, I'm like, hold on. Havoc is Scott Summers' brother. I'm like, as a matter of fact, I even said it. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not right. But then I'm like, who cares? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't let that kind of stuff bother me because who cares? I mean,
they're
in the
just
grand
trying to,
scheme
like-
of things.
Yeah, they're just
There's still two
introducing
characters.
It's just action flow.
Like you get like Beast, and then you kind of get Beast before he was all blue, and then you get Beast when he is blue. That's
Right.
cool. You get Havoc, who's
But in X-Men
Cyclops
2,
with
he's
his
not
chest.
blue, and then in X-Men 3, he is blue.
He wasn't in
Okay.
X-Men 2.
Yes, he was. He
Was
was
he?
on a TV screen. Hank McCoy
Oh, yeah,
is
he was
talking
human.
in a news interview.
But that's not. It's different continuity. It's
Were
like
you-
okay,
were
it's
you-
got all
okay,
this
hold on.
different continuity, and then they jumble it
You-
together and
you-
say,
I-
What is your
Shut
biggest
up.
problem with with X-Men Last Stand?
Brett Ratner, probably.
But I mean, like,
you know,
but,
the whole
I mean,
thing.
did the whole
all-
Juggernaut angle just did it upset you because him and Professor Xavier weren't even they
were
didn't even know
brothers,
each other,
and he was
right?
a mutant, and he's not actually a mutant in
Right,
the
Right.
comics.
No, I didn't care for Juggernaut at all in
And
that film.
oh,
I
really?
thought he was a complete waste.
I liked him,
Especially
in
with
the movie
him,
for what he was.
being a mutant and
Yeah,
no mention of being. I think he's Xavier's stepbrother.
Yeah,
yeah,
And there's no mention of that, and he didn't even fight Colossus.
right.
no. He just chased down a girl.
Right, chased down a little girl.
Like a real man.
That's how men do it.
I could understand you being upset as you are if it was like Superman Returns, where they adamantly said this takes place in between Superman 2 and 3. And,
Right, yeah.
and you're okay with that when they introduce a stinking child and Superman rapes a woman. And you're okay with that. But here you are like...
To be fair, it wasn't rape. He just made her forget it.
That's true.
Like,
Which
That's
I
true.
think they kind
but
of fudged
seriously,
that out.
best superpower ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
But like you could sit here and be like, yeah, Superman Returns wasn't a great movie, but it made total sense in the continuity of those 5 Superman movies. Like, no, it doesn't.
Well, if they throw the other ones out, because that was the idea, is that they were going to pitch out 3 and 4, that they didn't count. That was my understanding, that those films didn't
Right.
count, 3 and 4. And really,
It's only,
you don't...
they only count Donner stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and you really... Because it's Singer. You really don't even need Superman 2, except for, they have sex in Superman 2, because they don't mention Zod, they don't mention any of that stuff in this new
They
film.
didn't have to say it took place after 2. They could just be like, this is a new Superman movie.
Right. But it would... First Class would be the same as if we would watch a Superman movie in the 1920s, because you're taking this...
Okay, no, I'm following.
You're taking this
Continue.
modern day character and throwing them in the past. I understand Superman was made in the 30s, created in 1938. But it's just odd to me that they would move these characters to the past. I know they're not moved to the past, but
the idea of it being like not the original X-Men, but the
Right.
beginning of the X-Men.
right.
Yeah.
Which when originally they said, oh, this is going to reboot the X-Men franchise. We're going to do X-Men First Class. I'm like, all right, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Beast,
Reboot.
and Angel.
Meaning
And-
has nothing to do with the original 3 that they made.
Right. So I thought it was going to be the original X-Men team, like the original comic book X-Men team, and
Right.
no, that is not what
No,
we got.
No.
not even a little bit.
And I love that you're so offended that they did that to you, that you're like, principals say
I will
no.
never watch this,
I will probably never watch it.
which
That's
is
so
ridiculous
sad.
because it's so good.
It's a really good movie.
I'm sure it is. I'm
In the
sure it's a
comments, if
fantastic
you think
movie.
that... Oh,
I just
let's
think
make,
that-
let's make a deal.
It's
Let's
just
make
a
a deal.
principle,
How many
like-
comments will it take for you to go out and watch X-Men First Class and come back and tell us what you think about
I have
it?
it on my
Comments
Voodoo.
not
We
from
can watch
us.
it right now.
Yeah.
Comments not from people in Epic Groupcast, like actual
Yes,
fan
actual
comments.
people
I'll start
commenting
pushing for
on
this.
our YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. How
Okay.
many comments will it take?
Okay, 1,000 comments.
No. Realistic.
I'm
We don't
being
have
realistic.
1,000. We don't have 1,000 viewers yet.
They don't have to be from different people.
You-
I'll take 1,000
would take-
comments from
so
you
you
people.
would
we
take
get two
one,
people that
you would
do
take one
500
person
each.
commenting 1,000 times.
Yes.
Go watch it.
Yes.
Let's
Jimmy
make-
Gifford, this message is to you.
Yes.
Comment 1,000 times that
1,000.
Anthony needs to watch this movie.
It's actually encouraged for you to say, Anthony, go watch First Class X 1,000. So it'll be 1,000 times in one comment. I think that'll work.
No, that's a cheat way to do it. I'd appreciate it if
I'm
people
pretty
watched
sure
this
it would
on
kick
YouTube.
anyone off of YouTube or Facebook if they consistently said the same comment over and over again. Like Facebook
They
would
can
be
say,
like,
just comment,
"Are you fake?"
yeah, that you think that I should watch it. I don't
I
don't think
you
I'll
should.
watch it.
I think no. Okay, let's make it a better deal. If 100 people, if you get 100 different comments that say you should watch X-Men First Class, I think you should because that's realistic.
How many
could-
likes do we have on Facebook?
Like 60.
No, we've got 80 some.
Is it? Oh.
Then that's not a bad deal.
What is it? Is it 87?
That would mean that
I have no
every
idea.
single
I don't keep track
person
of that
plus
stuff.
20 would have to listen to this podcast and comment and say you should watch it
All right, let's see how many likes we got
or
on
likes.
Facebook.
We'll go with likes.
We'll see how many likes we
You
got
don't
on
even have to
Facebook.
comment because maybe some people don't want to comment. They just have to like this podcast. Or if we get 100, we get 100 likes on Epic Groupcast. By the next time you record, you have to
No,
watch
because
that.
we're almost to 100 likes already.
We're
So-
at 80.
And
89
heaven
likes.
forbid you'd
We're
have to watch an
89
hour and a
likes.
half movie over
That I don't
superheroes
wanna
that
see.
you enjoy. Do you like Kevin Bacon?
That I
No.
think you would like. Oh, you don't like
what?
Kevin Bacon?
What?
Oh.
Are you
I
What?
could care
kidding
less
me?
about Kevin Bacon.
Get out of my apartment. Footloose, man.
This is our time.
Footloose.
Other than Footloose.
He defied all odds to dance.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
The town was like, no, you can't dance. And he's like, I can dance.
I can dance.
I bet you I can.
I will show you.
Come on. Nothing says F you to the man like dancing.
That's right. Angsty dancing.
Yeah.
January Jones as Emma Frost interests me, but not enough to watch this film. Hugh Jackman being in the bar and telling them to get
Cameo.
lost really does interest me, but
You don't
not
like
enough to watch
James
this
McAvoy?
film.
But it's,
Say, what
it's
about
all
just-
about the Professor X Magneto
Yeah, exactly.
relationship.
What about the
Yes.
younger versions of Magneto and Professor X? I mean, that's why I went to go see it.
Yeah.
See that relationship.
I mean,
Seeing
and that's
Magneto
what it's
hunt down
about.
the dudes who tortured him
Yeah.
during World War II, that's cool
Right.
too.
because they could have dropped out all the other mutants, and I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
I personally
Which I
just
think
wanted
they
to
should
see
have.
it.
Had
Which-
they done that, I would have
Well,
watched
honestly,
this.
like the first half of the movie is just them two,
Yeah, exactly.
basically. I mean,
separately.
it's mostly
Coming
about their relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, they're gathering up a team of mutants or whatever, but it's kind of like a
it's in a
side
response to
story,
getting
and it's
attacked.
just you
Yeah.
know,
And really, the villains are really cool. Like Azazel, which I agree.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense for him to be there, but they acknowledge it with saying he's a Russian mutant and he's an evil Nightcrawler. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then you have, I can't remember the guy's name, but he makes like tornadoes and stuff with his hands. Like, that's the cool power.
It's got the long hair.
So, wait. We need 100 likes
100 likes on our Facebook
on
page.
our Facebook. No, not our Facebook page, but on this
On
video.
this single comment?
On this single.
Okay.
And I'll watch the movie.
that's
Okay.
not going to happen.
So you guys, you gotta push behind the scenes. You gotta share it. You gotta.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
I still
that's
stick
the
to
challenge.
100 likes on our face on the page.
No, because that's 12 likes. We need 12 more likes.
Yeah, but like we know that not everyone who liked our page is going to listen to the podcast.
Right.
So
What?
What? Wait,
They don't listen to the podcast?
just for the fact of
our
we're gonna listen
YouTube
to
numbers show that.
yeah.
But anyway, no, I understand. But yeah, 100 likes or comments, and I'm there.
Okay.
Combination. So if we get 50 people that like it and then comment on it, you're in.
Right.
Okay.
So that you can do it with 50 people total.
That's doable. All right. So 100 likes and or comments for this episode of the podcast.
Yes.
You gotta get this done then. Like get it edited and up there.
I hope
Pretty
you watch it
quickly.
and you just hate it even more. That's what I hope for. I don't want you to like it. I want you to just hate it even more.
I hope he watched like the whole time he watched it's just like
Probably.
I know,
I
yes.
wanted to do this.
This is right. He's going to go in.
Beast is blue. I saw a comment he was
That's
in
what I
that
hope
once.
for. Yeah.
No.
Like, I hope we get to 100, and then I hope.
Hold on.
Hates
Isn't that
every
that kid
second.
from Warm Bodies?
Yeah.
And that's Hunger Games right there. I like to refer to actors
Hunger Games
by
and about a
other movies
boy.
they're in. Hunger Games is Mystique.
Wanted has psychic powers.
Yeah.
What?
Ah,
Okay, so what's
that's
going to
how he
happen
curves
is
bullets.
we're going to have to edit this from movies that we're optimistic about and just do the X-Men stuff.
I know.
Because of its length as
Yeah.
its own podcast.
That's
but
true.
let's go on.
You can
Let's-
just make that
It
its
can
own
be one big
podcast
one, it's
I
fine.
know.
and
I know,
have
it's
it
funny.
the X-Men conundrum.
the X-Men.
All right, so another movie that we are cautiously optimistic about is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is the sequel to the prequel trilogy of the Planet of the Apes trilogy. So think Star Wars, but with apes
Did
and
anybody
Andy
like that?
Serkis.
The actual Rise?
I liked
liked
Rise of the
Rise.
Planet
I
of
did
the
too.
Apes.
I watched it.
thought
I
it was
really
good.
liked Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I liked it. I liked
I
it.
did
really
too.
good.
I watched this.
One of my favorite parts, and I hope that Anthony will agree with me, of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, David Hewlett.
I thought you were going to talk
I
about
love
when,
that guy.
I thought you were going to talk about when Draco Malfoy
Yeah.
got electrocuted to death.
That's what I thought you were going to say too.
Like I hate Malfoy.
It's like,
Malfoy.
He makes fun of
Slytherin.
Moogles and apes. Ugh. Worst human being ever.
No, I like David Hewlett a lot. I was just glad he was in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's getting work because I think he's funny. So
He's
I was
great.
really happy to have him in that
Yeah,
film.
he needs to be in more stuff.
Yes, he does need to be. They need to just bring back Atlantis. Bring back Atlantis. That's what I want. But
Okay with that.
Me too.
Jason Momoa,
yeah,
he would accept that.
you think so?
Yeah,
He's Conan now.
No,
Conan.
Schwarzenegger's going to be Conan.
Right.
yeah. That I don't like that.
That
like,
should have been on our list of movies we didn't want to see. Was
Yeah.
the King Conan?
I would have much rather
sequel.
seen a sequel with Jason Momoa as
Yeah.
Conan.
Conan
Conan
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conan. Is it Conan or Conan?
Conan, I think.
Conan.
I said Conan the first time too. It's just what you're
Conan the
used to
tall
now.
redhead and
When-
Conan the barbarian.
When Conan first came out, I was always calling him Conan, and now it's flipped.
Okay.
He's been around long enough that he's taken over the pronunciation of those 5 letters.
That
And he's
pressure.
awesome though.
know it.
So
Conan or Conan?
Yeah, I know. Now I'm lost.
Conan O'Brien.
Which one are we freaking talking
Conan
about?
O'Brien.
It makes me laugh.
He never
So,
stops.
are we... Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is actually going to take place, I want to say, like, several years into the future, where the virus you see at the end of Rise of the Planet of the Apes...
How many years are we talking? Do you have any idea?
What?
Like 5 years?
No, like
50
decades.
years?
Decades.
See, I
So we're
Like,
not
is
going to
this
see
going to be
Caesar?
like all-out war? I mean, is it going to be like...
No, it's going to focus on the beginning of the apes' civilization.
See, I haven't really read much about it. So they're like off in the jungle somewhere or
Yes.
something.
Yes,
And so like the next one is going to be like human-ape war, probably.
probably like the beginning
Yeah,
of it.
that's-
So like, I think that'll be
Yeah, I'm fine with
interesting.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, even if
But that's the whole idea is like there's not a real war because that virus that's left at the end, like that's what kills humanity. It spreads so quickly
right.
that they can't stop it. So, but like it'll have Andy Serkis is going to be Caesar again, and he's
Yeah.
going to be the leader of them, and it's going to be from his point of view. The whole movie
That's
will
kind
be.
of cool. Yeah.
See, that's
So
another
will it be
series
a
that,
whole
like-
film of apes with
Yeah.
no people?
No, there'll be people in it.
Oh, okay.
There's a girl, an actress. I can't remember her name now. I'll try and look it up while you guys fill dead air.
But I think I would like this film.
Yeah.
See, before Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I'd never seen a Planet of the Apes movie. I mean,
Really?
obviously,
You
I
haven't
know
seen
about I didn't even watch the Mark Wahlberg remake of
With
the
Yeah.
Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so bad.
Okay, here you go. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is going to have Gary Oldman in it,
Hey,
Kerry Russell, Judy Greer. That might be some of the bigger names that.
Now,
Yeah.
are they in it as people or
Yes,
apes?
they're in as people.
Okay.
Like Gary Oldman, I
You
think
gotta
is going to be.
specify.
I think Gary Oldman is going to be the leader of like the human resistance, and Kerry Russell maybe his daughter. I want to say,
I love Kerry
but like
Russell.
the pictures that we're seeing of it so far are like Andy Serkis in his like get up, the
Right.
motion capture, and a camera in front of his face.
I tell you
Right,
what,
riding
like,
a horse. Yeah.
that guy has to be tired of wearing the motion capture suit.
He loves
That's
it.
like
he probably has it underneath his
that's
regular
all
clothes,
he does.
honestly.
Yeah.
Like all the time. He just
I want them
He was
to make
King
a doc-
Kong. He was Caesar. He's
Yeah.
Gollum. So,
He was King Kong, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
that's basically his IMDb. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in a motion capture
He
suit.
directed and starred in like he and Simon Pegg did a movie not too long ago.
He was in 13 going on 30,
He was.
Yeah.
and he didn't have to wear a motion capture
He
suit.
probably
Yeah,
felt
probably
weird, though.
did. Yeah.
Right.
He did motion cap for The Adventures of Tintin. Oh, Burke and Hare with Simon Pegg. They were guys that got money from selling corpses to people.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
He's
He's
in
in
the
the
Prestige also. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
he's in the Prestige.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be good mainly because I think Andy Serkis is really good at motion cap.
Yeah.
Like phenomenal at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
And I remember whenever Rise of the Planet of the Apes came out, people were saying that he was so good in it that they should talk about giving him an Oscar nom.
Really?
Yeah, because he was
Well.
that good in it.
They're gonna
They did that
create
as well
a new
for,
category for motion capture.
Well, no, they argued for him, and they argued. I can't remember the girl's name, but the female in Avatar. The
Oh,
one-
yeah.
the female.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoe
Saldana?
something. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
they were saying that those two people should have been considered for Oscar nominations because
Best actor and
Yeah,
actress.
because their performances were
Right.
amazing, and what you see up there is just CGI their face.
Right.
I mean, every emotion and stuff you see, they're doing it through motion cap. So why can't that be a thing?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it makes
So-
sense. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I could see that becoming a big deal later on whenever we get more of this stuff.
Right.
They spit out Avatar too.
Like the Hulk in Avengers, that was all Ruffalo
Yeah,
in his face.
yeah.
That was the first time they did that.
Nothing was funnier than seeing behind the scenes of him with the dots on his face trying to make a Hulk face. Because, that would just... It would look ridiculous
Right.
just thinking about it, and then you actually do see it, and you're like, yeah, that would have been hard to do, just being like, I'm constipated. Got a long list of movies that we're excited about. We've only got a couple more. One of them being the sequel to Sin City. I think it's A Dame to Kill For.
Right.
So,
I thought
And-
the Marv part of Sin City was based off of A Dame to Kill For. Was it not?
I think it was.
Okay.
They're just using this as like
The
the
title.
subtitle for another one, yeah. But Marv is going to be back in it.
Right.
So his
Before he
story,
dies.
Yeah, his story will be before he dies from the first one.
Right.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be in it. Josh Brolin is going to be in it.
Oh,
Bruce
nice.
Willis is going to be in it.
From
yeah.
before he dies.
Some before he dies, yeah. So, or he could just have a small part in it. Who knows?
Right.
But what do you guys think? Are you excited? Did you like the
Yeah.
original Sin City?
I liked Sin City.
I
I loved the original.
I think it was really,
It was
really
good.
I don't know about this one.
I'll watch it just
Why
because
is that?
if they. Go ahead.
Oh,
Brittany
I-
Murphy won't be in it.
That's true. And Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
also dead.
He's not going to be in the film. Trust
He
me.
might be.
He might.
CGI.
It'll be gross.
Oh god.
It's just a single shot of this decaying body. That would be
Someone
terrible.
saying him beside him moving his mouth. I just
Weekend at
Someone-
Bernie's.
really
Some
deep.
PA holding up his body.
Yeah.
Like to drink.
Sin
Only
City
they're
Dame to
just
Kill For is actually Weekend at Bernie's with Michael Clark.
exactly. I'd
I
watch
would
it.
watch that. Tyler Perry, why don't you make that movie? I think it'd be
Gosh.
wonderful.
Oh. Moving on. Now we've offended our dearly departed audience.
People who are just like, I'm listening to this podcast because they clearly respect Michael Clark Duncan's dead body.
Not.
But I think it'll be good. I would like to see the whole black and white, accenting the red stuff again.
Right.
It was fun, and I like the dialogue and the story of Sin City. I think it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I'll watch anything with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it.
Yeah, that cast, it sounds good. That's what I was going to say. I like
Yeah.
Josh Brolin and Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
That alone
a lot of fun.
get me to watch it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories still left in that
Yeah.
universe that they could tell.
Yeah. I hope they bring Hartnett back too.
Yeah, that was a
He
really
was only
cool
in there for a
part.
heartbeat.
Yeah,
and I loved his.
Yeah.
I'd like to
That
see more
character
about
was
that
really-
character. Yeah, like
That character's.
I like
Pretty
Josh
young.
Hartnett.
I do
Like,
too.
he's not in enough stuff, I think.
I wish
I really like Lucky Number 11. Did you guys watch that?
Oh my god, that's one of
Yeah.
my favorite movies.
Yeah.
that's a great movie. Just Josh Hartnett and Bruce Willis need to make more movies together.
They do.
Hollywood Homicide, that was a terribly fun movie.
That's Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, that was Harrison
Mhm.
Ford. Okay, my bad.
Grumpy Ford or the young kid.
I'm
that's true.
old and stuff.
I love
Okay,
that movie.
the next thing I have on here is not necessarily a specific movie that we're cautiously optimistic about, but it's the fact of Marvel has announced that their whole Phase 1 was the introduced characters have Avengers movie, and their Phase 2 is going to be sequels to these characters, as well as maybe a couple of new ones here and there, and then Avengers 2, and then they're going to do the same thing again and possibly have Avengers 3, so they have Phase 1, 2, and 3. And I've already pretty much said that, like, they're going to be introducing more characters that aren't considered A-list ones, of like Captain America and the Hulk and Thor and stuff like that, but they're going to be focusing on characters who maybe aren't as popular to a general audience outside of reading comic books, like Guardians of the Galaxy, who have talking trees and talking raccoons. And then you have Doctor Strange, who's all about magic, and Ant-Man, who can shrink down to the size of ants and stuff like that. Are these movies going to be as good as the Iron Mans and Hulks and Captain Americas and Thors? And
I think that Ant-Man will just be terrible.
you say that, but I think it was last year at Comic-Con, they showed test footage of that,
Right.
and everyone was like, that would be a movie I want to watch.
Right. It,
Really?
it looked awesome, but it's 15 seconds.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
15 seconds of him running down a hall to try and get past
shrinking
these two
and
guards.
jumping up on a gun and running up the barrel of the gun.
Yeah.
But
They said it was pretty cool.
yeah, they blew their chance. They should have had Ant-Man in a lot sooner, and
They
maybe had him
wanted
in the
to, but
Avengers.
Edgar Wright couldn't finish the movie in time.
But now I don't know.
So let me.
But seriously, like, I am excited about the new Thor movie. I'm excited about the new Captain America movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited about, I don't know, are they doing like are they doing a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing or a Nick Fury thing on
They're
his
doing
own?
the Shield
They're doing the
TV
Shield
show.
TV show.
Right, but they're not
Yeah.
doing like anything with just Nick
No,
Fury, because
No.
I would watch that.
Well, you can. It's just got David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury instead of Sam Jackson.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But, like, what I'm more concerned about is, do you guys think that movies about Doctor Strange or Iron Fist or Luke Cage Power Man, like, will those do as well as an Iron Man and
Well,
Thor,
seriously
Captain
though,
America?
like before Iron Man came out, like he wasn't like a big time Marvel player. You know,
True,
I mean,
but he was the original founder of the Avengers. So, like, when you
Right,
think
but-
Marvel, you think he's a big...
right? But
name
Avengers
in it.
only came about because Iron Man did so well.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about, like, in the comic.
Right. But
Like, when
no,
you think
Right, but
Marvel Comics,
yeah, but
Iron
I'm
Man
talking
is
about
pretty
like
high up there.
when you're picking a Marvel character to do a movie on. Iron Man shouldn't be one of the first. I mean, sure, X-Men they did already, you know, and Fantastic Four
Well, that's the
they
thing is,
did.
yeah,
but-
Marvel didn't have any access. They didn't have the rights to...
to their big characters,
Yeah,
their
right.
true big characters,
Yeah, like
which were
Wolverine.
Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Spider-Man and X-Men,
right.
Yeah.
and those were the top tier, is the way I see it. Not that many people knew Iron Man before
Right.
Iron Man.
I agree.
Everyone
That's
knows
what
who
I'm saying.
Captain America is, though.
Iron
Right,
Man hit
so-
huge.
The Captain America movie should have came before Iron Man, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think you guys are really downplaying how popular Iron Man is.
Is now.
Is
He
now.
is very popular now. He wasn't 10 years
Yeah.
ago.
You know, you go around and you would see, like, merchandise. You would always see Spider-Man merchandise. Just like you would always see Superman, Batman merchandise. You would always see
Yeah.
Wolverine stuff.
Yeah.
Iron Man was left out in the cold, along with Thor, and
Captain America.
very
I agree
rarely
with-
would you find Captain America
Yeah,
stuff.
I agree with them from you
Yeah.
know just a typical non-comic book reader standpoint. He didn't catch on literally until
The
Favreau
movie.
put it out,
Yeah,
you know?
and Favreau's amazing. I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw that out there.
He's a good director.
I think that, because he fought for Robert Downey Jr. for that role, and I think that without Robert Downey Jr.,
Yeah,
that
it
movie
just
wouldn't have
wouldn't
been as
happen.
good as it was.
So then, you guys think that movies about like Doctor Strange and Iron Fist and characters who I'm sure people have never really heard of, like
Or Moon Knight.
Steven,
Yeah.
do you know who
I
Iron Fist is?
have no idea.
Do you know who
But,
He
Luke
wears
Cage
capri
Power
pants
Man?
and ballet slippers. So
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, well, he's got my vote.
They're
and
doing
a
like
V-neck,
Luke Cage
a deep V.
and no.
anyway, do we have any other movies on this list?
The only other movie that we have left to cover is Dumb and Dumber Dose.
2.
Yes.
TOO.
Is it even? I honestly don't even think it's going to happen.
Nope, I don't. I wouldn't even give it.
I don't think it will.
Really?
Yeah. They tried so long to make this movie happen, and it's never happened. For the longest time, Jim Carrey didn't want to do it. They finally convinced him.
What's Carrie Daniels doing now?
Daniels has got a really good show on
I
HBO.
was gonna say
And
Movie-wise.
Carrey, and you don't need to do a movie if you've got a TV series on HBO. Like, you're making money. And Carrey is still making movies. They're just...
Not good movies.
Well, he did Pauper's Penguins, and that made a lot of money.
Kick-Ass 2.
He's doing Kick-Ass 2,
Yeah.
even though he doesn't support it now.
Burt Wonderstone.
Did you know
Really?
that?
No.
Yeah, he's
After-
all anti-violence now.
Yeah, after the,
I shouldn't have hurt those people.
what it was, the shootings?
Yeah.
Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook. After Sandy Hook, he's become completely nonviolent. And he doesn't support Kick-Ass 2. He's just like, I acknowledge that I did that movie, and at the time I was on board with it, but after the events of Sandy Hook, I can no longer give my support to this movie,
See,
although
that's
I
my
hope it does
problem
well.
with people.
That's just, I think
Hollywood.
Jim Carrey dating Jenny McCarthy for as long as he did messed up his mind.
Yeah.
I
Probably.
truly do.
But,
'Cause
like-
she's crazy.
No, she
Seriously.
cured her kid's autism.
She's crazy. Like, claiming that
No,
you
no.
cured your child of autism is crazy.
She cured her child of autism. She said so.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Alright, so those, I'm sorry. Those are the
Way to end
movies-
strong.
This is why you don't lead.
This is why I don't leave. These are several movies that we are cautiously optimistic about. Let us know in the comments what movies you're optimistic about for maybe the rest of the summer or into next year or whatever it may be.
But yeah, definitely. Be sure to give me your likes so I can watch this horrible X-Men movie.
It's not bad. It's not
I'm
bad.
sure it's a fine film. I just won't like it. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube
Follow us on Twitter.
and like us on Facebook.
And follow us around the mall. If you see us
Please.
just walking around,
If
just
you-
follow
If you
us
see us anywhere, just
Turn,
follow
walk
us.
behind
as close as you
As
can.
creepy as you possibly can. We love stalkers here at
Yeah.
the Groupcast.
Put on your creep face.